Music, industry talk, stories, equipment and more. We are Crossfader and this is off the record. Off the record. Off the record.
Yes, gang, welcome back to this week's Off the Record. This is going to throw our week right out.
Yep.
It is Wednesday. We usually record the podcast on Thursday. But
so anything could happen.
Why are we doing it? What's happening?
So my kid's got a training day tomorrow.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
I'm in dad mode.
Right,
I can't come into work.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
You've been gone forever.
Who's this guy?
It feels bizarre to be
Who's
back.
this guy?
It feels so weird to even just be in the studio right now.
Welcome
It's
back.
been like a month.
It has been a month on it.
Yeah.
4 weeks off.
Not 4 weeks off.
Not
quite.
off. Not off.
But yeah, no, I had 2 weeks off. So I did the family holiday to Disney, did the full Disney experience.
Yeah.
14 days, 12 of those days in theme parks, full days, absolute carnage.
Jeez.
I felt like I was just in some kind of alternate universe bubble of animation and cartoons. So then I came back from that, and about 2 days after being back, had to try and get over jet lag, and then went straight off to Ibiza and was thrust fully into work mode because I went to IMS for 4 days, which is the International Music Summit, which is hosted in Ibiza. It was the 15th year this year, but my first year there. So it was such a weird juxtaposition, going really deep into family holiday and kind of having a good holiday for once.
Yeah.
Like the team's growing, and finally I actually had a holiday. I can't remember the last time I've had a holiday where I've pretty much checked out.
Yeah.
I still had to run a quarterly meeting
With a frozen background.
with the frozen background in the little kid's bedroom, but like all said and done, like it was really nice to get away. So bravo to the team for holding the fort down and continuing the podcast. It was nice to see the podcast continued without me. Yeah. So
We had fun.
We had
some
fun episodes.
episodes,
We were jealous, but we
what did
also
I
had
miss?
fun.
I haven't listened to them. So what were the key highlights that I've missed and people that are listening right now?
We just chose chaos.
Yeah. Grimes happened.
Yeah, there was a lot of chaos actually. When you leave, chaos kicks off. Yeah, the Grimes thing happened. We asked people unpopular DJ opinions.
Yeah.
Okay, always
it got,
fun.
It got messy.
It did.
But yeah, I think next year you got Disney and Ibiza again next year. You've got to take one of us to each.
Shotgun Disney.
Shotgun Disney.
I'm happy to have a break, at least a year off from Disney. It was a lot.
It's intense.
I came back more tired than I went, by far.
Yeah.
So yeah, still recovering.
So yeah, Ibiza. Let's talk about it. I've been to Ibiza 4 times. Can't say I've ever done anything productive there. It's been more fun working, but more fun than pleasure.
Yeah.
Been on both sides of the island, been to all the major clubs and stuff. But your experience was a totally different experience. So you mentioned it then, IMS. If people don't know what IMS is, which will probably be the majority of people.
Yeah.
What is it?
So basically, IMS is its own company, but it's in partnership with Alpha Theta now and Beatport, and they have both a big play in this event. And what IMS is, like I said, it's the International Music Summit. Now, I say International Music Summit, it's very much focused around the electronic music scene and the branches that come off the electronic music scene. There isn't much talk about like pop and rock particularly.
Yeah.
It's very much dedicated to the electronic market.
Yeah.
So there's a few things that go on. The main thing is it is a huge networking event.
Right.
So all sort of key players from all parts of the music industry come together once a year in Ibiza. And it's split. This year, it was the first time it was at this location. It's been in a different location. This was my first time there, so it's my first experience. There's these 2 hotels that are joined by a pool area, quite nice, fancy hotels.
Yep.
And it all happens in there.
Yeah.
So you spend the whole day within these hotels. There's all sorts of keynote speeches, discussions, networking, drinks.
Yep.
There's even like a whole wellness space. So there's loads of stuff going on, and it's about bringing the community together and then shaping what the next year in this space is going to be and what the focuses should be for the industry at large.
Yeah.
So that's ultimately what it is, right? Now, anyone can go. You've got to buy a ticket.
Buy a ticket, yeah.
And anyone can go.
Yeah.
And they're called delegates. So you can go as a delegate and take part and listen to these keynotes. You can network with anyone that's there. It's just like an open floor. It's not like you have to do anything special whilst you're there, you get an app as well if you're a delegate where you can book in, so you can see all the other people that are going and you can book meetings with them directly in the app.
That's good.
And like set up a load of networking even before you go out there, or you
Nice.
can have a nosy about like
that.
who is out there, what kind of role they are. You fill out your profile like I'm a founder, or I'm an artist, or I'm a DJ, or I'm a label A&R.
Interesting.
And you put all this stuff in. So it is very much a networking event for the industry at large. But there's a few things to it. Like, it's super inspiring because it helps you understand what is going on sort of behind the scenes of the industry, what the themes are, what the labels and managers and things are looking out for from new artists that they want to sign, from, you know, what's happened in the last year. They do a big business report as well. So they look at the user research team, and every year they announce this business report, which showcases how the music industry, especially the electronic part of it, has grown or not grown, or how much it's grown by, what are the leading segments within there, how live is doing versus clubs versus festivals. So really data heavy stuff as well, and they present this report. But ultimately, you know, I was rubbing shoulders with Eats Everything by the Pool. Nice. Mochak was doing an amazing talk on wellness and health in that space as a touring DJ, like how to look after yourself, which was awesome.
That clip has gone viral on our socials.
It's mad. I've got so many more as well, and he was so. We'll get onto that anyway. So, and you know, there's Fatboy Slim there, Pete Tong there. There's so many people that you would recognize from a DJ and artist perspective. But then there's all the other like important people behind the scenes that you don't necessarily know by
like
face.
The CEOs and founders. And
exactly that. A lot of founders, a lot of people high up in labels. There's like Elrose creative director and booker. So the person that books all of Elrose acts is like sat there. You can plan to meet him and things. So it really is a way to quickly tap into an industry if you're interested in moving forward and injecting yourself really like quickly into the electronic music scene. It's a good way to do that. Now, I think it was like €600 for a ticket, which is a lot. And then you've got your accommodation, everything. It's not cheap. And it's something I know they're trying to combat.
Well, but the people who are going to benefit from this
it is
are
an
already in the
investment.
scene. You're not a beginner DJ trying to get your first few gigs.
Exactly.
You're in the scene. You're trying to make moves. You're trying to make them connections.
One thing I want to say now as well, with a lot of people listening, it's not a tech event, right? There's a tech area with a few stands, and Alpha Theta's got their huge stand with all the gear on. But other than that, it's not a tech event. So don't go here hoping to like find out about the latest gear and equipment. And it's not about that. So NAMM is the one for that. This is way more about panels, keynotes, and discussions and networking.
Nice. Like I mentioned, that Mojack clip went viral with you filmed like a Chasing Status one of. Tell a story about the Chasing Status clip. It's a really interesting topic.
So one of the keynote, a lot of the big theme, there was a few big themes that I picked up on throughout the summit. One of them was about fandom and super fans. Now, the labels and management are really interested in this now because the reason why they're interested is it's untapped monetization. So they're going, there's some people out there that are super fans that want everything to do with an artist. How can we make money out of those super fans, right? I'm not bothered about that, but there were some interesting discussions that happened. And one of them was the management that look after Chase and Status. One of the team was there representing, and she spoke about this story of this evolution of this fandom moment that happened, whereby Chase and Status, you know, drum and bass is blowing up at the moment. Chase and Status did a boiler room. And it went off, right? The boiler room like went viral because of the ravers in the background were so invested and engaged.
You knew every word.
Exactly that.
Yeah, and that happens at a lot of them. But people don't then... A bit like, remember the Freddy Game guy who paused the thing? You have to lean into it,
So anyway, there was two guys in the back of this boiler room, just ravers, who knew every word, who were obvious super fans. They were there front and center in the video. And they noticed that, did the management. And what they did then is found these guys, in particular one of them, found their socials and saw that all he posted about was Chasing Status. He was a super fan. He was the definition of a super fan. And they lent into that. Cool. And what happened is, okay, we're not just providing a great experience for this one person. They're thinking what the knock-on effect of that is. So a few weeks or months later, there was the Brit Awards, and Chasing Status were doing a performance there. So they thought, how can we bring the culture of drum and bass to an award ceremony? So the Brit Awards is kind of like a rubbish
Grammys.
It's like the British Grammys.
Grammys,
It's not quite the Grammys, but it's the British version. And they invited all these ravers that were in the boiler room. That are all in their Discord server, which is a big thing. Chasing States have their own Discord server to activate that community of super fans. They invited them all to the Brit Awards, got them on stage in the background of the performance. So these are just normal ravers that are now on TV. And in particular, they spotlighted this one guy who made an impression in the boiler room and then lent into that. And then that went on and created their most viewed video after the fact. It had over 100 million views of this one video because there was a clip of this raver in there. It was Chasing Status at the Brits, and it was the whole story arc of going, you know, the attention of this one person.
They've created this cult icon within their Discord who everyone loves. They've then gone above and beyond for their community by taking him to the Brits, getting him on stage, and then throughout the whole performance, there's just a little, what they call like a little Easter egg of him flashing up. And throughout all that, they put a clip together, and then as soon as I put that clip up, every single person in our Discord is like, they've done this for us. So the sharing power of however many's in their Discord, 50,000 or whatever it is, every single one of them are going to share it, and did, because it's been built by them. So
this was a big theme, and it wasn't just this one talk that I heard that mentioned it. There were multiple ones, and what the vibe I was getting is, this is where it's actionable to those that are listening. You know, if you're just a bedroom DJ right now, or just playing your local clubs and bars, activate your best fans, and how they're saying they're looking for people who are using Discord, who are using WhatsApp groups, who, you know, they were saying some of their top tier artists have a real dedicated WhatsApp group, and they're just messaging like some of their super fans, and it's invite only, and they're back and forth, and they're super active in there. And that is super valuable because they can then activate those fans to promote on behalf, and you get all the UGC and all that stuff that goes along with it. So from a bedroom DJ / working DJ perspective, one key thing for this year that I'd recommend to take away is, how can you leverage the people that are close to you, the people that are following you the most? What can you do to create a community around them?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that with Crossfader, we've always understood this because we've built from sort of ground up. So every YouTube video and every post has been important to us throughout our journey. So responding and connecting and finding ways to engage our community has always been top of mind. Whereas these bigger companies are sort of doing it the other way and looking about, oh, actually, we've got these fans now. What do we do with them? So, you know, stuff like this podcast where we're live and we're seeing people from, you know, Janate from Germany and Ask B. We've got our big Discord community as well, which I know Danny manages really well. You know, DJ challenges and asking, you know, what next product do you want from us and things like that. I think that we've managed to do it because, you know, we've checked the comments and we read the comments and we hopefully engage as much as we can through. I mean, if you check our sort of Instagram feeds, it's just comment. Everything's comment after comment. And people just in there. And we've created this hub of people who want to talk to each other. And we do as much as we can. We do like follow a DJ day and things like that. So I think any sort of DJ wanting to understand the power of it. I mean, you just look after the people. It doesn't matter if you're starting today, you're opening up a Mixcloud account, and you know one person has just posted, oh yeah, nice mix. Sort of starts from there.
So I heard this directly from SoundCloud. Someone that worked for SoundCloud who was on this same panel, and he was saying that SoundCloud now heavily weight their algorithm to engagement within the comments. So if you are, it's like most platforms, but they've recently made a huge update so that if you are actively engaging back and forth within the comments of your mixes and tracks that you posted, they will push your track way further than they used to. So they're really leaning into, like, you know, actual genuine communication between artist and fan. And I think it's very much top of their priority to harness this relationship as well. There's a lot going on in the scene of the music industry where they're trying to activate superfan and artist and bridge that gap between the two.
I did notice that on SoundCloud today. I went into the comments and I saw that like now you can like comments and like you can reply to comments. It looks a lot more social than it ever has done.
Because he was saying that they've made, like in YouTube now, they've made an actual area. So rather than going to each track and having to go into the track, then to the comment, then to reply, there's actually just a comments tab now, which has all your comments collated in there from all your different sources to make it much easier to do that. So quick tip, if you're on SoundCloud, start engaging because they're going to reward you for that.
Copy Mixcloud. Mixcloud done that for years. Like that is a social hub, isn't it? 100%. What are the other takeaways you've got from the sort of link up?
Just off the back of that power of connection, so many companies were saying that in this world where everything's getting more and more robotic, AI, we'll get onto AI in a minute, but where things are getting more and more digitized, they're all wanting to lean into human connection, and that came up time and time again. You know, I spoke about the Elro Booker. He was saying, you know, it's about getting out there and just putting your face in and amongst the scene that you want to be in. Be around the people that you want to work with. Like, don't just, he gets 4,000 emails a month. He says it's just a headache. It's a headache. He doesn't want any more. And it's straight away, he's already on the back foot because he's in a bad mood looking through all these 4,000 emails. So another email is not going to contribute towards you getting in front of these people. Same, Mochak said it in the talk that he did. Somebody asked in the audience, what would you recommend a local DJ do to get into the bigger scene? So go from a local DJ to like a touring DJ, or, you know, someone that's outside of their local area, which I would have thought resonates so strongly with our audience. And you can see that if you go and watch the video on our Instagram, you can hear his full response. But ultimately, what he was saying is, because the guy came back and said, oh, so like content. And he said, well, content's part of it, but not really. Put your face out there. Go out there. Content is just one piece of the bigger picture. Go places, meet people, party, like go and do those things, because then it starts to evolve. He was kind of coming from the front of, you know, get in front of the labels, because they have reached beyond a local, just one city. So if you can, you know, provide your DJ services to a label, you know, they could take you beyond your city and start getting a release on labels where you know they're going to feature you in other cities, and then it snowballs from there. But yeah, a big theme is that power of connection. I heard it from so it was a really funny story with Alpha Theta. So they, as we know, have changed their name from Pioneer DJ to Alpha Theta. And as we know, it's caused an absolute stir online. Alpha Theta have obviously seen all of these comments, heard the industry going, what the?
It's nice to know that they're looking.
So they're looking. Now, what they gave a keynote, it was the general manager of their EMEA location, which is all like European area and stuff. So their general manager gave a keynote and gave the Pioneer DJ story. Tried to give some context around what Pioneer DJ is and the struggles and journey it's been on, as in like, so for example, I think it was 2015, it got acquired by KKR, which is like a big investment firm. So it went from being owned by Pioneer Electronics that we all know. It actually got acquired by a big like New York investment firm that wanted to just flip it. So what that means is they want to buy companies up, they want to rinse them for all the profit and then sell it for more money later on. And he was totally like transparent about this. And he said, this is what this company wanted to do. So they had, I think, 5 years from 2015 to 2020, where this company was just cutting everything, scrap the culture, cutting costs, rinse it for profit.
Double
and this
products,
is where people have gone, Pioneer just out for after the money.
See right through it.
So then it got acquired by someone called Naritsu in Japan. So that's another company. But he basically said in his keynote that it's a company that cares. It's a company that doesn't want to just flip the brand. It's a company that wants to innovate and nurture and provide resource to be able to do these things. So obviously, they felt the need to tell this story to try and paint the picture of where Alpha Theta's come from. By the way, they went into the name, and the name is all about the flow state. So getting in the flow state, something that music can provide, something that we can tap into with music. And that's Alpha and Theta are both brainwave frequencies. So that's where this whole thing comes from and why they chose Alpha Theta. It wasn't just like a corporate random name they came up with. They tried to attach it to their purpose as a company. So they're doing a lot of groundwork to try and rebuild their reputation, and they know that, and they're obviously giving a keynote at IMS to try and, like, you know, sell the dream to me and all the other media people that are sat there.
But stories sell everything.
But it was really inspirational.
That hasn't come across in any of their forward-facing marketing or anything like that. Nobody knows that story, and it's very easy to be like, oh, name looks shit, logo looks shit. And you know, nobody really cares. Whereas if they had maybe they didn't foresee it being as big a backlash as it was. Maybe they thought, you know, as soon as, you know, 6 months later, everyone's over it, kind of thing. I don't know if they realize how much Pioneer DJ means to people. I think maybe that's been overlooked. And then coming off the back of people sort of seeing through that they were the last 5 years of it sort of being low cost, no innovation kind of thing. Maybe a bit of a combination of everything. But if they can get that message across over and over again, and time will wash this away kind of thing.
Yeah.
Eventually it'll just be normal.
I think the detachment is going to be the fact that Pioneer DJ products are still going to be expensive.
Yeah.
So this story doesn't resonate to the consumer because they're like, it's still expensive.
Yeah.
But what Pioneer are trying to do on a more top level, or Alpha Theta, should I say, is they're trying to rebuild the culture within and show that the whole thing they built around is like plant an oak seed today to create an oak tree tomorrow or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was about they're trying to plant the seeds now so that in 10 years' time, they've fostered a much more collaborative, open, human-centric business, not just profit-centric.
Yeah.
They were totally honest. They're like, we are a for-profit company. Right. Obviously, we're not a not-for-profit, but these are the things that we want to try and infuse into our future planning.
Yes.
So very interesting. But power of human connection was another big one, and everyone kept bringing it up. So I think it just goes back to just be human. Like the more and more digital the world gets, don't forget about that. Just going and meeting someone for a coffee.
I mean, some of our best memories last year was meeting everyone at Pirates, weren't they? Pirate Studios.
Yeah.
We did a little Pirate Studio tour. Yeah. We did like London, Birmingham,
the Box Park
Leeds.
thing as well with DJ City. That was great.
We did the Box Park meeting with DJ City and the gang at Beat Source. And that was great. And like connections have come off that. We've had working relationships come off the back of that.
Yeah.
The students that we know personally that we met in London, few guys that we met down there that we love and now we follow. And that can't be replicated. You can't. Again, we get 400-500 DMs every day. You can't really get in front of us that easily. Whereas you meet and greet and you get, just like the guy was saying, you get 4,000 emails. If you can come to an event or go to an event, and a lot of people aren't sort of super confident and. They just aren't that personality where you can go up and say, hello, nice to meet you. But totally get that. And most people, it's weird, isn't it? Because the DJ industry, a DJ in the middle of a crowd, on a stage, look at me, but then most of us don't really like that.
Yeah, introverts.
A bit, So I get that, but not that you've got to get over the hurdle, but start small. It's like you go to if you were trying to get gigs, you go to your local club and just like meet the manager, or give them a USB or something, like drop them a message saying I'm coming down with a few friends or something like that. Start small, and then if you go to one of these networking events, you can always hang back in the back for a little bit and just see what everything's going on, and then you get the confidence up. But I get that not everyone will just walk up to somebody and be like, hi, is it Pete Tong? Anything?
So there's a few other key themes, right? Before we get onto it, AI is a huge talking point. But before I get onto that, I want you to both think about how you've used AI in music, if you have, and what you think it means for the industry, while I just explain another big key theme. So Amapiano and Afro House.
Hello.
Huge themes for this year's IMS. And basically, these two genres have had this meteoric rise in the last year, especially in the electronic music space, because it's kind of like a new wave of house music, new danceable music genre. And I must have heard those two genres more than anything else while I was out there.
Yes.
So the whole industry is taking notice. Obviously, they've been made beatport genres on the Beatport platform in the last year. There's a lot of artists coming through. There's a lot of big pop acts that are using, making tracks in these genres as well. So huge thing. What does it mean for those that are listening? Well, all I'd say is if you're from the South Africa region and you're making this kind of music, now is your time. Lean in, double down, get your music out there. Just make, release. Do it because the industry is watching.
It's wanting it.
If you're not, there, experiment, immerse yourself in the culture, figure out like what's going on in that culture, experiment with some of the music, just literally go on Beatport, go into the charts, incorporate some of those tunes in your sets, have a play around with them, get the vibe. This is what they kept saying, it's a vibe, but that was like the buzzword.
Is that what it was? It's a vibe.
It's a vibe.
It's a corporate word for a music genre, isn't it?
But for DJs out there, just start experimenting with these genres because they're definitely not going anywhere anytime soon, and the music industry is paying very close attention and jumping on this. Another big one is Indo House. Now, there was a big talking point about Indo House because there was some great people representing Indo House out there. And again, this is the what people are potentially thinking is the next genre. It's one of the biggest markets out there, like the Indian market, the Eastern market. It's such a huge market. There's so many people, but it's not represented well enough. And there was a big call to Beatport to be like, you need to include it as a genre, because what that will do is it will allow more people to actually come out there and say, okay, my genre is represented and I'm going to continue making this genre, rather than trying to force my style into another genre just to try and, you know, get some popularity. It's out there. It's just, it needs the bigger players in the game to represent. So that was something really interesting. It's just how these emerging genres go from being underground in quotation brackets to mainstream and supported.
They get pushed by culture, and it's like it starts with a group of people who love it, and it can just take off, and you can't really you can't force it or fake it. And it's like I play in my hip hop sets and R&B sets now. It's creeping up and up, but it's probably up to like 20% amapiano now. And it's a really good sweet spot, especially if you're like more open format. If you're playing like a hip hop R&B set and you're playing some dancehall, it's a really good transition when you're not playing house. It's a really good like gateway to just have a bit more energy on a dance floor. That's, you know, you're still within sort of the realms of playing hip hop, R&B and stuff like that. So that's why I've incorporated it a lot, and I just enjoy listening to it. I don't know what it is about it. It's hypnotic.
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe, yeah. It's a vibe.
We had someone had to play this a couple of weeks ago, and I played a few bits for it. But 100%. Just search for. And you know what? There's not many huge. There's definitely sort of a gap for a few like big amapiano DJs to really like take not ownership, but, you know, like lead the way and lead the line and be headlining big festivals of this nature. So it's exciting to see what's going to happen with it.
Do you know something else interesting that came from this is, again, the nuts and bolts behind the scene is that actually it's a huge genre. It's had a meteoric rise, you know, on socials, on platforms, from the listening power, from streaming, but actually selling the music. South African market doesn't have the buying power and the economy that other Western markets do. So that's why, like, on Beatport, it's a genre, but it's actually still quite low down in the actual purchasing of that genre because where it's most popular doesn't have the buying power. So this creates this tricky situation for companies that are selling music to feature these things heavily because they're not going to make the money back off it. So there was this weird push and pull between, like, it's an emerging genre, great, we want to support it, but it's got to fit into our business model. So really interesting what goes on behind the scenes. Okay, AI. Should we talk about AI?
Let's talk about AI.
Okay. Again, another huge talking point.
Be nice.
So what was the question? How have we used it?
Have you used it? How have you used it? And what do you think about it?
From a music point of view, I've used it for production purposes.
In what way?
There's like a couple of websites out there that you've gone, right, okay, make me a set of chords and make me a melody that goes along with it. Right. And then from there, I'll take that information and then try recreate it in MIDI within production software and tweak it a bit. And it's like generating ideas for me in a way. So very useful in that respect.
Big thing they were talking about is how it'll change the sampling game to create your own samples. And that's a big, amazing, useful tool of AI. Any other ways?
Well, I've been following, I assume you're going to talk about it a bit, but I've been following DJ Fresh's journeys. DJ Fresh, drum and bass, legendary drum and bass producer, has formed this AI company, and it's like AI for voices. And it's essentially trying to get ahead of what's coming. And he has basically a select group of artists, famous people, famous singers, that basically you can license their voice for your own music production. Right. So instead of, you can go on some AI now and type in, Drake voice, Rihanna voice or something, and it will work. But to get ahead of it and make sure the artist gets paid, that he's sort of trying to build this platform for emerging artists and big artists to sort of license so that the artists get paid for using their voice, but then you can actually have the famous person on your track. So I've been like following it, and it's had support, and I think SoundCloud have backed it as well. So that's a sort of slice of where it's kind of going as well.
So that leads on to a big thing that they did say, that AI is going to bridge the gap between artist and fan, and we're going to get this fan creator / fan curator experience in the next few years. So what this means is the way we interact with the music, it's not just going to be laid back listening anymore, it's going to be active participation. Right. And these AI tools give the power to the listener to be able to, easily affect, change, create with their favorite artist's music. So we're going to see a lot of platforms come about where artists and fans can collaborate together on the music library that the artist has and make these fan-made remixes and interact with music in a different way. So that's sort of one of the positives they're seeing with AI is that it's going to bridge the gap between the artist and the fan and create some new innovation, in the way that they do interact and create. So there's this like collaborative, creative process that will happen.
It's a really interesting take in it, because you think about artists coming through and you sort of fall in love with favorite artists because they're very individual. Yeah. And you're like inside their mind and their feeling and their experiences. Whereas now, like you said, with the talk about the fandom and super fans, it's almost like coming 180, and it's like a lot of creation is being fan led first. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So like artists are gonna be in Discord saying, right, I've made 10 tunes here. Which is your favorite? Because your favorite will go in the album, and it's like it's becoming less personal and more collaborative, which is not a bad thing. Just saying it's a weird way it's going about, isn't it?
So this goes off the back of the fact that they really said at IMS that streaming's hit it's going to keep growing, but it's hit its upward trajectory, like that hockey curve of, streaming is here, it's here to stay, but it's not on that growth trajectory that it was a few years ago. Yeah. So this is where what's the next thing, and just like you go from cassette to CD to to streaming to as it evolves.
When is it enough?
But this is where it opens it up to this whole new thing of allowing people to collaborate and make the music experience not just a listening experience, which is where it's quite interesting. The other thing they said as well is that, AI's great. It's advanced so dramatically, but, there's a difference between content creation and creating just for the sake of creating and artistry. Right. So a lot of artistry, like true new genres, music that just like hits you somewhere as a human.
It comes out of you.
A lot of that comes from mistakes, from experimentation, which is sort of the opposite of AI. AI is trying to sort of like get things right all the time. So they're saying that to really like tap into artistry in music, you need mistakes. You need things that go wrong. Yeah. And that is where it'll
You need a bit of heartbreak.
Some secret sauce, So they're saying that AI isn't going to replace all music, obviously. Yeah. But the real interesting thing, if we just back up into the nuts and bolts of the industry again, is that governments and labels are panicking. There's so much there's so much panic going on higher up. Yeah. Not just us, jumping onto Udio or Suno and going, make me this deep house track. It's good fun toy, right?
Yeah.
But
deeper than that.
What's happened now is literally because of Udio and Suno and the quality of the AI, it can't make a chart topper, but it can very much make something.
I bet it can.
It probably could, but
not far off.
But what it can do very well is make good, instrumentals, music for TV, music for sound libraries,
radio show hooks,
sample banks,
free license music, sample banks,
and we figured out that it basically in 2022, $382 million is what the syncing where music for TV, the syncing industry was worth to labels. So that could all be kind of like taken away from labels, which is a huge part of their revenue stream. So labels can't afford to lose out on that kind of money. So they're trying to figure out ways of controlling and copywriting this stuff, especially when it comes to the voice swap stuff, because they've got artists that then are liable to anyone creating with those artists. And how do you monetize that? So wherever the money is where things start to get interesting, and it's gone right up to government level and politics. The other real interesting thing at the top level is that currently there's copyright laws in all different countries, all independent copyright laws. For example, in the UK, I found out that they factored in, 20 years ago, that copyright laws extend from the creator and like the a machine version of that creator as well, or a machine in sort of thing to foresight technology.
If a machine creating something or a creator creating something.
It's both like under the copyright law, whereas in other territories, it's like there's no rules on if a machine creates something. There's no law against if a machine creates something, and it's fair game. Yeah. So a lot of this is in like I think it's China and South Korea, and they don't have rules and regulations apparently on
Who
the
owns-
copyright and who
Yeah.
owns these digitally created sources of music, whereas some parts in the West do. The US haven't decided yet, so everyone's in different situations. And for example, the UK are then going, oh, well, we don't want to miss out on these monetary opportunities that the East might have access to now. So we might need to change our laws so that we can tap into the money that's floating around. So I'm taking it really top level here because it does filter down to just us sat in our bedroom as DJs, because the whole music industry is going to change purely because of AI and the way that, I mean, for example, a lot of session musicians will go and just, create music for TV and for sound libraries as a side hustle.
Yeah.
All that's going to be wiped out. So all that gig economy, a big part of their income could be wiped out.
Even sort of DJs in your restaurants and your bars, like more chilled areas. You've got Spotify AI now, which is like, if I'm a bar owner, am I going to spend $300 on a DJ for the night, or is Spotify going to say, chilled music for a Japanese restaurant? It does feed back into it. But there's interesting conversation about where AI takes it, and at the minute, as humans, we've all put the information that we know onto the internet. So now AI is, you're asking AI a question, that's going to find it and give you the answer, but eventually it's going to be this loop of AI is now also all the information, and it's asking itself the thing,
and then it implodes on itself. How data sets work and these models that AIs are built on is exactly that. It can't use its own data set to then fuel its answer and prompt. So it starts to break down, and this is where we feed it so much, but actually we're going, it's only going to be able to do as much as the data set is. It was a very interesting debate, let's say. And all I can say is the music industry as we know it is going to change
Big time.
because the big people up in the big offices are bricking it. And there is money that is going to shift hands. It's going to go from the music industry to the tech industry. The big thing was, why should one company, OpenAI, own, take all of this revenue from all of these artists that are, making sync music for TV? One company could kind of take all of that in a way. But it happens. Industries change, right?
Of course,
It's like the labour force. The labour force totally changed with robots coming about and automating Amazon warehouses. It's the same thing.
And it will, for us creators and DJs and stuff, it will, and it is, isn't it? Coming back to this real thing of vinyl having a spike and having these euphonia mixes and having real music and things that you can hold and feel and touch. And there was a debate online about how much new music are we playing, and because of streaming services, do people care about music this generation as they did in 20 years ago, when there was 3 radio stations and the songs were very limited, whereas now there's millions of songs, and 100 people on a dance floor can have 100 different music tastes because AI is suggesting their next song. They're not going out and finding it for themselves. It's like, can you play on a dance floor of brand new tracks to everyone, because everyone's music taste is different, whereas 10 years ago you knew what was going to go off.
I just had a really weird thought.
Go on.
You got nightclubs. You got 2 rooms.
2 rooms.
One room human, other room robots.
We're gonna test it.
There we go.
Should we test it?
Honestly, we can see this split happening potentially. And again, it goes back to consumption versus interactivity. There's a lot at play here when it comes to music.
Do us a favour, let's kill the robots. You go get on the decks. We're going to add to playlist. As ever, guys, we like to give back and give you guys listening. By the way, I did forget to say hello to everyone watching. It's messed my day up.
We got straight deep into conversation.
Yeah, sorry, AI's in my brain, guys. But thank you for checking out and listening to us live. It is on a Wednesday. It might be on a Wednesday next week as well, but we'll see. But thanks for checking us out on this different day. Sorry if you're not here. But yeah, we'd like to give something back to you guys. So just go to wearecrossfader.co.uk if you're interested in taking your DJing to the next level. You want to get into a new course. You want to check out our complete package. If you do want to take any individual course, you can use the code off the record for 20% off all our courses. And again, wearecrossfader.co.uk. And if you are a complete package owner, that's all of our products in one. There is a brand new scratching course coming this month. We're in May, right? Is it 1st of May today?
It's 1st of
It
May.
is. So there's a scratching course coming this month, and there's a drum and bass course coming next month as well. So you might just want to either get it now, or if you've got it already, that'll be sliding into your DMs. Right, it's time to play Add to Playlist. And we're gonna
Can we hear me?
fire through these.
Let's
Seeing
go.
the time, we're gonna
Children to pick up.
Danny's gonna play us some new songs. We're gonna see if we like them. We're gonna see if AI made them, and we're gonna give them an energy rating, and we're gonna see what the vibe is. Let's go.
Go.
We sometimes do disagree. I like it. It's a sign.
Can we hear this all
I feel
good?
like
You think like me.
I'm getting back of the bus vibes.
Sometimes feel some way, but you choose to leave.
I'm getting teenager vibes.
Sometimes I just want to be with you. That's why that night was over. I had the
That's not where I thought that was going.
Say please and try and call my puff.
It's like deep house
So,
vibe.
so far, it's just nice.
Yeah.
It's a nice song.
Oh, be honest. That vocal would annoy me after 5 listens.
Yeah.
Love the vibe. I love the track. That vocal. Is it Pink Pantheress?
Pink Panthers, yeah.
Yeah, I love her, but I think
Yeah.
that would, like the old, like what was a big one? The Boy's
Just
a
Me.
Liar.
Oh,
That
Boy's
one.
a
Yeah,
Liar.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Got annoying after 2 weeks, didn't it?
After a bit, yeah. One of them voices.
It
So,
would go in a folder on mine called Nice Vibe.
so it'd be like just play tonight.
Yeah. One plate only.
Yeah. Like it though. That vibe is what, like a 3?
Yeah.
3.
Low energy level.
It's like pop deep house in it.
It's kind of like background.
Background.
Yeah, background bar vibes.
Yeah.
Just sort of
Yeah.
going on in the background.
Yeah.
Nice vibes.
Yeah.
Right.
Next.
Cool.
Is it making the playlist? No.
Nah.
No, not for you. Fair
Nah.
enough.
Totally different. Oh, okay.
Pretty Green
We're still at the back of the bus. Oh, I'm gonna love or hate this.
Yeah, same.
I'm gonna love or hate this. I'm scared. Here we go.
What do you reckon?
I'm struggling.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I feel like there'd be better remixes out there.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was going to go like super, super heavy techno, or it was going to like switch into some sort of.
I thought it'd be like 4x4. Like,
Yeah. It was not as offensive as I thought it would be, and I could listen to this.
Yeah.
I think it's just, I think I hate the vocal. If you're from the UK, I think there's a certain demographic that comes to mind when I hear that vocal.
See, Danny's a bit younger than us, so
A little
when I
bit.
started going out to
Yeah.
under 18s
This is what I
raves,
mean.
this was like the biggest tune of the moment, the original one.
Yeah.
And it was very much just like this big ravey pop tune that got very annoying quite quickly, right?
Yeah.
And I think I'd want a total different version of the song to reignite like some kind of love for it. Whereas I don't know, Danny, you probably never experienced it beyond.
No, that was a Bluetooth tune for me. I was never old enough to go out at that point.
Okay.
But yeah, it was about.
Yeah. Next.
Okay.
I'm enjoying this more.
Oh yeah. Hello. Oh yeah. Disco vibes. Oh yeah. Yeah. Now we're talking.
You're redeeming yourself.
This feels quite fast for disco house. It's a bit more. It's a bit more than that.
Skip to another part of the track.
Little 4 energy.
Does it change?
Little 4 energy. Kind of like that. Yeah. Okay.
Do you know it reminds me of like French house sort of like
Yeah,
punk
French.
choppy vibe.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, French house. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, by the way, guys, forgot to mention, all of these tracks will be in our Discord after the podcast. So just go to our Discord and we'll post all the track list in there for you. I like that one. Yeah, playlist.
Last
Go,
one.
Next one.
Right.
And then I get 2 wheels, tricycle. Then I get 3 wheels, tricycle. Then I get 4 wheels,
Tricycle?
it's a car. You can't even get a unicycle, it's a bar. So you better stop spitting, forget the freestyle.
What's that sound? Da-da-da-da.
I wear my own guns.
Oh.
I see me around the one arms. Tell them shut your mouth.
Wait,
no
what's the sample at the beginning? It's is it Master Blaster? Play it again. Play the beginning.
No, it's not.
It was. It was.
Tactical.
Dun, 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 dun.
What do you mean by that?
What is that?
Get a unicycle.
Please don't turn me on the garage tune. It's that. Yeah, it is.
I forgot
It
it.
is. Yeah. It is.
I wear my own guns.
That is lovely.
I see me around
Nice,
the
isn't it?
one
That
arms.
is lovely.
Tell them shut your mouth. No bombs. Tell them shut your mouth. No.
So again, nice vibes. Work in
Lovely.
the UK. Great tune.
Yeah.
I think taps into that UK garage vibe.
100%.
Bar vibe still, maybe
Bar
early
vibes.
doors.
Yes, it's still like about over 3.
Yeah.
Actually, dumb Ed Hardy belt. Actually,
Yeah, background.
Ed Hardy factory.
It's
Yeah, I
kind of
like that. Yeah. Vibey early doors.
yeah.
3 energy rating.
That'd make it to my playlist.
Yeah.
I'd download that.
Yeah.
Very good.
Enjoyable. Yes, guys, that will be all the track lists for them tunes will be in our Discord straight after this podcast. Thanks for listening, guys, on a Wednesday. I hope it's not throwing your week off.
I love that, like your deadline's creeping up. You're speaking 10 times
I need
as
to go. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.